Anzu walks out of the store and runs happily home. She purchased a new cat photo book. Tsukasa has been staying at her house for a month. She admits she enjoyed living with the two of them and will miss Tsukasa. A man bumps her and spills coffee on her book while she is waiting for the go signal in the pedestrian lane. The man accuses her of bumping him, spilling his coffee, and getting his shoes dirty. Anzu is terrified. Suddenly, a stunning young lady appears to defend her. The man agrees to let Anzu go if the beautiful girl comes with them, but the girl defends herself physically. Anzu becomes enraged when the man belittles her book. She physically assaults the man, causing him to flee. Anzu is captivated by the girl's beauty. She believes she may fall in love with her. They laugh about Anzu threatening the guy with a swarm of cats peeing on his mattress. Tsukasa appears to greet the pretty girl, interrupting her thoughts. Tsukasa is taken aback when he sees Anzu with the girl. Tsukasa knows the girl, which also surprises Anzu. Tsukasa's older sister, Arisa, introduces herself. She also expresses gratitude to Anzu for caring for Tsukasa. Anzu is astounded by the siblings' beauty. Arisa apologizes for disturbing Anzu at her home and thanked her again for allowing Tsukasa to stay for a month. Anzu believes it is her fault that Tsukasa's home is in such disarray. Arisa also tells her that she and Tsukasa's mother wanted to meet her, but Tsukasa broke his phone, among other things. Anzu is self-conscious because she is the one who broke Tsukasa's phone, and that they had not anticipated Tsukasa's stay would last a month. Anzu offers drinks and heads to the kitchen to make them. Tsukasa follows her. Anzu and Tsukasa discuss what happened at the station. Arisa is pleased to see Tsukasa laughing at Anzu's stories. Anzu questions Arisa and Tsukasa about why he is living alone in order to attend their school. Tsukasa becomes nervous in response to Anzu's question, but Arisa responds lightheartedly. She explains that the only solution is for Tsukasa to attend another school because of their father. She expresses her gratitude to Anzu once more for being there for Tsukasa. Makoto calls Tsukasa, forcing him to leave for a moment. Arisa inquires of Anzu who Makoto is and what Tsukasa is like at school. Anzu explains that girls like him because he is laid back. Arisa asks Anzu if she likes Tsukasa, causing Anzu to spill the juice in her mouth from shock. Anzu tells her seriously that she doesn't like Tsukasa and that she initially thought he was rude, but as she gets to know him better, he becomes one of her friends with whom she can relax. Arisa tells Anzu that Tsukasa used to smile a lot, but an accident changed him, so Arisa is surprised to see Tsukasa smile around Anzu. She expresses her gratitude to Anzu for everything. Tsukasa returns and informs Anzu that Makoto has invited him to see a movie, and that Makoto is upset because his sister ate his pudding. Anzu claims that it is difficult to forget food-related grudges. While Tsukasa and Arisa are walking down the street, Arisa tells him that Anzu is a nice girl, and that she thought Tsukasa avoids girls. Tsukasa tells her that he tried before, but Anzu is unlike the others. Before they leave Anzu's house, Arisa recalls the scene. She jokingly tells Tsukasa to stay a little longer, which surprises Tsukasa. Tsukasa, on the other hand, is welcome to stay longer because he is a great help to her, and the only one who can handle the roaches. Anzu also tells them that she is content with her life with Anzu and Junta. If Tsukasa leaves, she believes Riri will set traps for her and Junta. Tsukasa gladly agrees, and Anzu is overjoyed. Tsukasa keeps Anzu because he doesn't want Arisa to see him smile, according to Arisa, and she suspects Tsukasa likes Anzu, but Tsukasa tells her that he is at ease around Anzu and that is all he needs right now. Tsukasa returns home while Anzu is doing the dishes. Anzu expresses concern because she is not dressed formally. She is now more conscious of how she dresses after they go shopping. Tsukasa tries to explain to Anzu why he lives alone, but then changes his mind. Riri appears and rejoices in the success of her plan, because she believes Anzu is now in love with Tsukasa. Anzu snatches her and tosses her away. Riri is worried about what she will report to their headquarters a few days later. She believes she is untalented. She invites Anzu on a pretend date and bribes her with the cat hoodies she adores, so Anzu will show her the true meaning of romance. Riri also transforms into a man, which astounds Anzu. Riri forces Anzu to hold hands with her man form and uses bribery to get her to agree once more. Riri chooses an illness romance type of movie at the movie theater, and Anzu wishes she wouldn't make Anzu ill like in the film. They come across Tsukasa and Makoto as they are about to enter the movie theater. Makoto notices Anzu and Riri kissing. Ryo, Riri's girl form's twin, is introduced as her man form. Riri is dragged away from Tsukasa and Makoto by Anzu. Tsukasa is skeptical that they are related. Anzu is also still determining whether Riri has other plans, or if she truly wishes to learn more about romance. As the film begins, Riri observes the film and everyone in the theater. Even couples, she observes, do not cuddle while watching a movie. Anzu is still crying as they walk out of the movie theater. Anzu dislikes movies about terminal illnesses because she sympathizes with the protagonists. Riri, on the other hand, is unable to relate because she is not human. Riri suggested trying boba drinks because she had never tried them before. She keeps saying it tastes like rabbit poop, but changes her mind when she tastes it. It's now frog eggs to her. Anzu becomes irritated and walks away from Riri. She runs into Kagane while walking and inquires about his job. Kagane informs her that his shift is in the evening and that he is observing what commoners are doing in other convenience stores. Anzu believes that he is serious about his work. Riri interrupts them by making Kagane believe she is his rival for Anzu. Anzu, on the other hand, stops her by introducing Riri as her cousin. Riri coaxes Kagane into dating Anzu. Anzu yanks Riri away and informs Kagane that she does not want to go on a date. Riri explains that if they have a rival, their feelings for Anzu will become more evident. Riri continues their date by forcing Anzu to take a picture with her, play in the arcade, and buy cat merchandise. Anzu ended up having a good time. They're resting in the park, and Riri notices that the ambience is romantic, and that Anzu is just a little odd when it comes to romance. Anzu warns her that she is stubborn and gets what she wants through strength, so Riri should be prepared. Anzu continues to hinder Riri's plans on their way home. Riri bids her farewell and promises to make new plans. She would like to go on another date with Anzu. Anzu informs her that she will derail all of her plans. Riri unexpectedly kisses Anzu on the cheeks as a form of goodbye, and Junta appears from nowhere, falling from the bike. He witnessed Riri's actions. Anzu is furious with Riri and frantically explains to Junta. Episode 9. Anzu notices Junta practicing on her way home from school. She wants to watch but stops herself because Riri might butt in and do something dangerous to her. As a result, she continues to walk home. Anzu is thinking on the train that if Riri hadn't cast her spell, Junta would be happily in love with the cute baseball assistant. Someone calls Anzu's name as she is feeling sorry for Junta for being dragged into Riri's plan. Rapporin and Amin, two of her elementary school friends, pass by. They decided to grab a snack and catch up. While catching up, they discuss Anzu's habit of playing games with a boy named Tonta. Anzu has no idea what his real name is, but Amin does. Tonta's real name is Junta Hayami, which astounds Anzu. Anzu believes she has gone insane because the Junta of today is not the Tonta of the past. Rapporin and Amin are concerned about Anzu and inquire as to what is wrong with her. Anzu informs them that Junta is no longer the same person. They'd like to see him. When Junta arrives at the location, Rapporin and Amin are taken aback by how Junta has changed. They invite him to the reunion, to which Junta agrees because Anzu will be there. They tease them about dating, which Anzu denies. While walking home with Junta, Anzu is zoning out, thinking that he doesn't realize Junta is Tonta, and that his feelings may be correct. Anzu enters her room and discovers Riri in her girl form waiting for her. Riri is looking forward to her reunion and wants to pick out Anzu's outfit. Riri is confronted by Anzu about Junta. Riri, she believed, duped Junta into falling in love with her. Riri explains that they are not permitted to manipulate people's emotions, and that if they are allowed to, she will first cast it on Anzu. Riri explains that she only brought them back together because Anzu is ignoring Junta. Riri explains everything to Anzu, who is surprised that Junta is all around her. Junta wishes to approach her during the freshman welcoming ceremony, but Anzu rushes home to play a video game. Anzu always rushes home from school to play video games, while Junta is too preoccupied with baseball practice to approach her. Anzu, on the other hand, is still enraged at Riri and desires her three deepest desires. Riri explains that she is a non-heroine who needs to be guided in order to have a love life. Anzu tries but fails to reason. Anzu tells Riri that knowing that Tonta is originally Junta will not change anything. She still does not want a romantic life. Riri is thrown out the window. Anzu recalls Junta moving out of town when she was in elementary school. The reunion date arrived. Ryua is making fun of Anzu for wearing tacky cat prints. Anzu arrives and apologizes for not living up to the three boys' expectations of her. That would be scruffy and lame. Anzu tells Ryuya that he hasn't changed at all, including his height, which irritates Ryuya. They then enter the facility to play bowling. The boys mock the girls for being weak, claiming that the loser would tell their first crush. However, Anzu defeated them in bowling, causing the boys to awkwardly confess their first crushes. Ryuya's next suggestion is air hockey, with the loser having to pay for the ice cream. Anzu defeated them yet again, causing Ryuya's pride to ache. Ryuya suggests karaoke, because he desperately wants to beat Anzu but is unable to do so because Anzu's score is higher than his. Ryuya is depressed as a result of his defeat. Anzu tries to console him, but Ryuya refuses, so Anzu tells him it's nothing new that he can't win against her. They're going to pick a song for Anzu to sing with Ryuya. Anzu comes to get Junta when he arrives. When everyone asks who Junta is, Rapporin and Amin explain that he is Tonta and that he has returned to town. He is now attending the same school as Anzu and is a surprising athlete. Rapporin and Amin introduce Junta, and everyone is taken aback by his transformation. They are all amazed at how many people flock to Junta. The boys enjoy watching Junta's baseball games. The focus is now on Junta, which has made Ryuya envious. Ryuya insults Junta, but Anzu defends him, humiliating Ryuya and leading him away. Anzu chases after him, attempting to lure him back inside. Rapporin, Amon, and Junta are listening in on their conversations. Ryuya admits to lying about his first crush. His crush is Anzu, not their kindergarten teacher. Anzu immediately declines him, because she does not want a cheater as her partner. She wants someone she can rely on. Ryuya assumed it was Junta because everyone could see Junta's feelings for Anzu. Anzu tells him that all she wants from Ryuya is a friend. Rapporin and Amon can't stop laughing when Ryuya is rejected. Junta expresses regret for hurting Ryuya's feelings. Ryuya apologizes for allowing his jealousy to get the best of him and compliments Junta. Rapporin and Amon make fun of Anzu for her popularity with Junta and Ryuya. Anzu chooses to be oblivious to Junta's feelings in order to prevent any romance from developing. Ryuya pauses Junta to speak privately. Ryuya feels guilty for previously telling Junta that Anzu had grown tired of him. That is a lie. Junta is pleased that it is not true. Ryuya notices Junta's kindness because he isn't angry about what he did. Ryuya apologizes, and Junta tells him that it's all over now. Ryuya declares that he will not give up on Anzu, and that Junta is transparent about his feelings. As they return inside, everyone mocks Ryuya for being rejected, and he decides to sing all heartbreak songs. Anzu exits the convenience store where she works and sees Tsukasa and Junta with Tsuchiya. Tsukasa and Junta arrive to pick up Anzu, while Tsuchiya waits for Kagane. Tsukasa and Junta are greeted by Kagane as they exit the store. While walking home with the two boys, Anzu takes into account how she can stop Riri's plan now that she has grown accustomed to living with him. Saki is waiting for Anzu at their front door. Saki wishes to spend the night at Anzu's house. Anzu is forced to explain everything to Saki. Saki is surprised to learn this and apologizes for showing up unannounced. Saki was evicted from their home by her brother. They discuss how Saki has the appearance of a heroine but is very daring. Anzu illustrates one of their memories. Anzu gets an upset stomach as she prepares to tell Saki the truth about Riri. Saki expresses surprise that the three of them are living together and expresses gratitude that it is Junta and Tsukasa. She also tells Tsukasa that they are both prone to getting into trouble. Riri appears as soon as Anzu enters the bathroom and tells her that she cannot tell others about her or the truth. She will always have an upset stomach if she does this. Saki is concerned for Anzu. Saki begins to tell Anzu about her plans for the two of them this summer break, but Anzu falls asleep just as Saki begins. Saki recalls the beginning of her friendship with Anzu. Saki is popular with boys at school due to her attractive features, but she just wants to be a regular girl student. Anzu defended herself against the soccer club's assistant who was bullying Saki out of jealousy. They've been friends since that day. Saki's concerns were taken seriously by Anzu. Saki is always bothered when people compliment her on her large chest and her beauty. Girls are envious of her. Anzu assisted her in selecting clothing that would hide it. Mori, a senior and student committee officer, asks Saki out one day. He has a good reputation among his peers. He promises not to hold Saki until she is ready. Saki is assured by Anzu that she will be supported in whatever decision she makes. Mori is given a chance by Saki. They walk to school and went on a few dates together. Mori did keep his word. Saki is unsure whether it is love. Mori invites Saki to his home to study with him. Saki is skeptical, but Mori is persistent, and Saki eventually agrees. Mori suddenly becomes physical with Saki while studying, forcing himself on her, resulting in Saki hitting him with a book and fleeing. Saki has realized that it is fear, not love, that drives her. Anzu greets Saki at school and begins a cheerful conversation. As they enter the room, Saki's friend confronts her about Saki's violent behavior with Mori. Mori breaks up with her, so she forces her way into Mori's house and tries to reconcile with him, but he rejects her, so she strikes him in the face. Saki is also dating several other men in addition to Mori. Anzu claims that everything is a lie, and Saki would never do something like that. She also tells the girl that she knows Saki, and that she shouldn't believe everything she says. Anzu enters the senior room and confronts Mori about spreading lies as a result of Saki's rejection. Mori tries to keep lying and telling Anzu that everything is true, but Anzu warns him not to underestimate them, which scares Mori. Even though the class has already begun, Anzu joins a crying Saki at the stairs. Saki thanks Anzu and says she will remain friends with her until they die. Saki expresses gratitude to the sleeping Anzu. Riri invites them to the festival the next day while they are eating breakfast. Anzu and Tsukasa decline, but Junta insists on going, so Anzu has no choice but to go. Tsukasa refuses to go, but Anzu forces him to because Junta may confess again if they are alone. Junta wishes to dress in their traditional yukata. Anzu is compelled to wear it despite her objections. The festival day arrives. Junta is left behind and unable to pass through the crowd, so Anzu comes to get him. Ryuya becomes upset when he notices Anzu holding Junta's hand, but Anzu explains what happened to them. Ryuya drags Junta for a talk as soon as he sees Tsukasa. Ryuya asks who Tsukasa is and tells him not to let another handsome man take Anzu away. Junta and Anzu bid Ryuya and his friends farewell. While walking away, Ryuya's friends tease him that he has no chance with Anzu. Tsukasa is nervous while walking because he is in a crowded place with so many girls, but he tries to overcome his fear. They decide to go get some food and then meet up when the fireworks show begins. Saki locates the line where Makoto is. Saki greets him, and Makoto informs him that he is now his sister's errand boy. Mori appears behind Saki in the same line as they are talking and begins to insult Saki. Makoto notices Saki's discomfort and humiliation and drags her away by the wrist. Saki expresses gratitude to Makoto. Tsukasa and Anzu are waiting for the return of the others. Tsukasa is overjoyed that Anzu is wearing the bracelet he gave her. He is also pleased to see Anzu enjoying herself while watching the fireworks. Anzu wishes to photograph the two of them for Arisa, but when she presses the capture button, everyone appears behind them, including Tsuchiya and Kagane. Kagane defends his presence there. Everyone is taking pictures and having a good time. Riri causes Anzu to collapse in front of Junta and Tsukasa, but Anzu becomes enraged when she realizes her cotton candy has fallen. Kagane gives Tsuchiya food that touches Tsuchiya. Anzu believes that, although Riri's plans are inconvenient, she hopes to return with them next year. The girl looking at her laptop notices a picture of Tsukasa in the background. She smiles sinisterly as she declares that she has already found Tsukasa. On episode 11, Anzu scolds Kagane for taking her on a date in an arcade. Anzu tells him that he does not consider her a love interest, but Kagane only demonstrates his narcissistic side. A girl watches them from a distance as they take a picture with Tsuchiya. Anzu does have a good time despite her dislike of going on a date with Kagane. On her way home, she is stopped by a woman named Yukana Kishi. Yukana Kishi informs her that she is aware Tsukasa is staying with Anzu and that they have been dating for some time. Tsuchiya tells Kagane in the car that someone has been following them all day and that he is concerned about them leaving Anzu alone in the train station. Kagane texted her to see how she was doing. As Anzu and Yukana Kishi walk towards Anzu's house, Anzu is skeptical that Yukana is Tsukasa's girlfriend. Yukana speaks negatively about Tsukasa's family and claims to have discovered Tsukasa through an online posting. Anzu stops walking because she senses something is wrong. Tsukasa leaves the house with a plastic bag just in time. When he sees Yukana and Anzu, he drops the plastic bag. Yukana sees Tsukasa and rushes over to hug him, but Anzu notices how uncomfortable Yukana is and rushes over to stop her. Anzu assists Tsukasa in returning to the house, leaving Yukana outside. Tsukasa gets help from the kitchen sink and continues to sweat. Anzu looks out the window and sees Yukana walk away. Tsukasa inquires of Anzu what Yukana told her and whether she believed her. Anzu tells him the details and expresses her disbelief. Tsukasa pukes on the sink as a result of his emotions. Tsukasa tells Anzu that Yukana is his stalker, which surprises Anzu. Tsukasa relaxes a little and grabs Anzu's hand to keep her from getting a drink and staying with him. Anzu apologizes for bringing Yukana, and Tsukasa is relieved that Anzu recognizes right away that he does not approve of Yukana. Tsukasa begins explaining to Anzu why he lives alone while holding her hand. It all began with a bag. Tsukasa assisted Yukana in picking up her bag after she stumbled on the ground. Yukana began to wait for Tsukasa and greet him every day after that. Then he got a gift, a long-sleeve polo shirt he assumed was from his mother or sister. However, as he walks down the street with his friends, Yukana passes by and compliments him on his new shirt. He then realizes it's from Yukana. Packages begin to pile up in Tsukasa's house, creeping them out. Someone created accounts on multiple websites using Tsukasa's mother's name. Arisa wishes to report it to the police, but their father objects and accuses Tsukasa of using his mother's credit card. Arisa defends him, but their father becomes even angrier. Their mother warns them not to touch it, because it will be returned. Tsukasa is waiting for the go signal in the pedestrian lane when Yukana approaches him and asks if he doesn't want her gifts. Tsukasa tells her she needs to stop what she's doing, but Yukana continues to wait for him, and even visits his school. Yukana sneaks into Tsukasa's room one afternoon while he is studying, and puts sleeping pills in his drink. She used Tsukasa's account to make negative comments about his classmates and schoolmates. She also posted about them dating, which made Tsukasa's classmates dislike him. Tsukasa's father slaps him and blames him for what happened, blaming him for being a people pleaser. Yukana appears to harass Tsukasa again as he walks to school, but Arisa intervenes. Tsukasa was unable to return to school and regrets assisting Yukana that day. His mother, Arisa, and his homeroom teacher all assisted him in getting through it. Tsukasa began to live normally after leaving his hometown and living alone. but every time he attracts attention, he panics. As a result, he defends himself by pushing others away. Tsukasa is even more hurt, because his father did not defend him or stand by his side. Anzu unexpectedly hugs him and tells him she wishes they had met sooner so she could be the one to believe him. She is enraged by what happened to Tsukasa. Arisa arrives and has already reported the incident to the police. She warns them that they must remain vigilant from now on. Tsukasa regards himself as weak and pitiful. Arisa spends the night with Anzu. Yukana's mother is chastising her. She holds Tsukasa responsible for Yukana's demise. Yukana becomes enraged when her mother disparages Tsukasa. Yukana is muttering illusory thoughts about herself and Tsukasa. Because of her obsession, she wants Anzu to disappear so she can be alone with Tsukasa. Kagane notices Anzu's sadness in the store and tells her she can talk to him. Anzu had forgotten her phone at the store. Kagane instructs Tsuchiya to chase Anzu and return the item, but Saki and her brother appear unexpectedly because Anzu sent them a message. When Anzu realizes her phone is missing, she decides to return to get it, but two men stop her and tell her that someone told them Anzu shouldn't see the light of day again. They are about to hurt Anzu when Junta and Ryuya arrive and stop them. Tsuchiya, Saki, and her brother came next. One of the goons informed them that they had no choice because they had been threatened. Anzu realizes Yukana is to blame. Anzu expresses gratitude to them for rescuing her. Saki informs her that she sent them a message instructing them to come to her, which perplexes Anzu because she did not do so. Tsukasa wants to leave when she gets home because he endangered Anzu's life, but Anzu stops him and tells him they will go through it together. Riri appears in her bedroom to cheer her up and admits that she was the one who sent the message to everyone. Anzu is enraged by Riri's manipulation once more, but she expresses gratitude for saving her life. Anzu approaches Riri and asks if she can use her magic to stop Yukana. However, Riri can only use her magic for romantic purposes, and if Anzu is put in danger as a result, Riri will remove Tsukasa as Anzu's love interest. Anzu becomes enraged and throws Riri's wand out the window, ending up in poop once more. She tells Riri to leave, because talking to a heartless being like Riri is pointless. When Junta gets out of bed, Tsukasa is in the dining room. Tsukasa expresses regret for what happened to Anzu. Junta tells him to tell Anzu that Anzu is lucky not to be hurt. He also states that he will not allow it to happen again, no matter what the consequences are. He informs Tsukasa that it is his decision and has nothing to do with him. He admits that Anzu is the reason he plays football, because Anzu once told someone that she likes sporty guys. Anzu previously told Junta that he would be good at baseball. Tsukasa laughs because Anzu has no idea she helped create the talented athlete. To ensure Anzu's safety, Junta, Tsukasa, and Arisa always accompany her wherever she goes. Kagane offers assistance, which makes Anzu happy. Yukana appears as soon as she exits the store's back door. Anzu is terrified, but she still thinks about Tsukasa. He should never see Yukana in that place. She collects her courage and asks Yukana what she desired, but Yukana pulls out a knife and attacks Anzu.